This week on Coffin Fodder, dust off those shades because we are talking sunshine.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
I like to dissect girls.
This is God.
We have such sights to show you.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
I see dead red.
Even in hell. Oh, yes. Oh, no tears, please.
They're here.
Here's Johnny.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Coffin Fodder. I am your host, Mike Werby, and I am joined by Coffin Father Kyle Mickleborough.
That's me.
And we got... Oh, he's going to do it. Don't you do it.
He's ready. It's loaded. It's loaded.
And Coffin cousin, Brady Silger.
Hello.
That was actually funnier. That's actually funnier that you didn't do it. Yeah, you're upset and you're doing... See, it's like on the sitcoms where you run the joke a certain amount of times and then you got to go against the joke. So it's funny to go
Wait
anyway.
until you re-listen to it.
Yeah. I will reevaluate at that point. But we are your weekly horror show where we pick a movie and we change picking the movie and the thing happens and the person does the thing and then
do our stuff.
The
Yeah.
Zip Zop Zooly Bop Jello Pudding.
yeah, all that stuff. This week we're talking Danny Boyle's 2007 sci-fi horror, another sci-fi horror, I guess, bouncing off of last week. Sunshine, and probably one of the more underseen of his catalog.
What are his other catalogs?
Danny. See, there's actually Danny Boyle has his horror catalog, and Alex Garland has since developed his horror catalog. So they both, for Danny Boyle, you got 28 Days Later.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Of course.
He's also the Train Spotting guy. He's got lots of great.
Tons
He's got
of
lots
stuff.
of great movies in general, but his most well known horror film, and then that of course spawned the franchise. He's back this June to do. And Alex Garland once again writing it, so
that's awesome.
we got these guys are coming back. So it's actually this is sort of relevant.
That's kinda
it's almost
cool,
like
yeah.
we kind of know what we're doing.
It's all
this
maybe.
This is all right.
Spooky. Now
Yeah.
I'm really scared.
Yeah.
And what are they calling it? 28.
28 years later.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Years later.
It hasn't been quite 28 years, but close enough.
That's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I kind of thought they were going to go 28 months. Just because,
But years?
It's years because it's years later than...
I think that's probably a more interesting to see what the world looks like 28 years after
Skip
it.
forward.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy in the trailer looks like a skeleton.
And speaking of which, Cillian Murphy is the star of this
He
film
is the
also.
star.
This
And
movie
you
which
know
we're talking
what? You know what? The first thought I had. So I guess before I jump into that, we need to briefly set up. This is a movie about astronauts. It's the future and the sun is dying. Astronauts have been sent on the second trip, because the first one failed, which is pivotal. The second trip to try and reignite the sun with nuclear bombs of all things. And the first thing I thought of, Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah.
The biggest
of course.
movie.
And Cillian Murphy's
The fucking
in that
biggest
too.
movie.
Yeah.
Of one of the biggest movies of the last couple of years, Oppenheimer, Best Picture winner,
Well
Oppenheimer.
done. I had
And
no-
then I was like, holy fuck, Cillian Murphy's talking about the bomb he developed.
Right.
Right at the beginning, he's like, and we're going to reignite it with the bomb. My bomb.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Icarus. And I was like,
That's
holy
awesome.
fuck!
I didn't even put that together. That's
I
crazy.
didn't either.
Yeah, that was my first note. Was
What
like,
a coincidence.
yes. With the twist.
With a twist.
Yeah, so that's the basic setup for the movie. Of course, Cillian
Yeah.
Murphy. This one, maybe, I mean, I guess aside from Bram Stoker's Dracula, probably our most star-studded
This
movie.
is a huge cast.
Like almost
Huge.
everybody in it is,
Yeah.
and some of them have actually just become a big deal in the last few
I
years.
was going to say, some of them, this might have been early, and they were already good actors, great actors, some
Yes.
of them. And everyone in this movie has gone on to either be more
Well, Chris
than they are
Evans
now.
is fucking Captain America now.
Absolutely. Cillian Murphy's a huge name.
Yeah.
The Asian dude, forgive me for not remembering his name.
No, I don't worry.
Tons of stuff.
I'll have you know. I have the information right here.
Of course you do.
So-
For me, he's Samurai in The Last Samurai.
Okay,
Makes
cool.
sense. He's
So that is Hiroyuki Sanada as
Yes,
Kaneda.
that's it.
But he blew up last year because of Shogun.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
also in Mortal Kombat.
He's been in tons.
Oh, he was in
I believe he was Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
the new Mortal Kombat.
The new Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat.
Right,
movie.
that checks out. That makes sense.
The one that no one watched.
I watched
Right.
it.
I watch it too.
This dude
But we're also
always-
nerds.
Yeah, we are huge fucking
Right.
nerds. Hence the podcast.
Dude always delivers.
Yeah, and even Pinbacker is played by Mark Strong.
Yes.
Who a lot of people won't know his name, but if you watch,
You've seen him.
he's the bad guy in Kick-Ass. You'll see him in he's in all kinds of stuff.
Tons.
And then of course Rose Byrne, who's again, I don't think a lot of people know. I think a lot of people don't know her name, but they would all recognize her if they saw her because she's in Bridesmaids, which is one of the biggest comedies of the last 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And she's in a bunch of other stuff like Troy.
She was in Wedding
Wicker,
Crashers.
Wicker Park, tons of stuff.
No, she wasn't in Wedding Crashers. Sorry.
She's in tons
Yeah.
of stuff. Anyway, incredible cast.
Sorry,
Great.
speaking of Kick-Ass with Mark Strong,
Yeah.
the group that did the music for this movie, Underworld, did the music for that movie.
Well,
and a lot of movies.
that's actually a great point. That's the music that is used in Kick-Ass in both the two major music set pieces. One is from 28 Days Later, and one is from Sunshine.
Yeah. The group's called Underworld.
Yeah, they were in these movies first. They just reused them in that movie.
That's awesome. I didn't know that either. Cool stuff.
One of the rarest things I think you ever see is somebody reusing someone else's score for another movie to hit their major. Yeah. Anyway,
Crazy.
Score.
God damn it.
Right away, it's a huge cast of people, right? Every single one.
Fantastic. And it's just like Michelle Yeoh, that's the other one.
I was waiting
She's
for,
the other one who
is now
blew
huge.
after Everything Everywhere All at Once is now a household name. Everybody knows who Michelle Yeoh is, but she's been at it since I think the first time I saw her was in not Die Another Day. What was the Tomorrow Never Dies?
I couldn't even
the James
think.
Bond movie.
I'd say
time.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was the first one
That
I've
was
seen
after.
her in.
Yeah,
that was
after.
after the James Bond stuff.
But again, somebody with a long career of being great. Everybody. Anyway, just what a stacked cast.
Totally.
Especially in 2025.
Absolutely. Yeah, now, like, back then they were great actors. Now they're well established.
Yeah, now everybody knows they're great actors.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. So I guess the journey starts up. And this, forgive me, because I just realized this, like, I've seen this movie like 10 times. And I just realized this, like, 2 hours ago. But the ship is called the Icarus.
You just realized that? Yeah.
No, I mean, I associated it. No, the deeper meaning. Like, obviously, Icarus is the Greek mythological character who flew too close to the sun. But the first Icarus failed.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's what I realized. When I was driving earlier today, I was like, wait a minute.
Because they're Icarus 1 and 2, right?
He's trying. Yeah, Icarus tried to fly too close to the sun, and he fell because of it. And the first Icarus fails.
Yeah, fair point. I'll give that right back to you. I hadn't put that together either. I don't know.
No, yeah, it would be.
I didn't get that either.
What kind of Spectrum baby would I be if I didn't know the metaphor for Icarus? But I was like, I think there's a second metaphor.
Yeah,
here.
you're right. It is. The first one had already failed, and they're going to try again.
That's the problem when you call your ship, name your ship after someone who died horribly because and was not able to succeed in what he was trying to do. But I guess that's the beginning of the movie. We got what's his name? Kappa. We got Kappa's our physicist. That was his first.
Yep.
That's his opening spiel there.
That's his spiel. They're gonna boost jump the sun.
And we actually get some really good science to do with that too. That's one of the things that I appreciate about this film so much is how much thought they've put into where does the oxygen come from on the ship? How does the ship cool itself?
Yeah, they put effort in.
Every little thing they thought of, and I read online somewhere some of the stuff doesn't line up, but I don't fucking care. I'm not building a spaceship,
right?
So, but I'm just glad that they put that much thought.
They did, because some of the stuff. So I listened to a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they've talked about this movie on there.
Yes,
because there's so much good sound science in it.
That makes sense.
And then, much like Interstellar, they started to stretch that boundary to make their movie because you have to. But there is good, solid sound science in here, and they've put some effort into how things.
The oxygen farm,
that was one of the coolest things.
I love the oxygen farm.
Yeah,
because you see her tending to the plants.
Yeah,
and you're like, why is she raising plants? And it's like, oh,
obviously.
Once they burn up.
Yeah,
later in the movie, they're like, we don't necessarily have enough oxygen for all of us to survive the trip now.
Yeah, so and what a great way to think of to create oxygen for a long-term trip. You have to have oxygen, and where are you going to get it from? So grow a ton of plants.
You need a recurring oxygen supply.
That's just
you can't take there's not a tank of oxygen big enough,
right?
Because this. I can't remember exactly how long this is, but it's multiple years.
It says something like 20. I was going to say
No,
28
no,
years.
it's like a few. It's
8
Icarus
years or
1 is
something?
7 years, and then these guys have been up there for, I think they...
It's
say,
a few, I
A
think.
few after that, so it's
Yeah.
like 4 or 5.
Right.
yeah. I think their round trip is supposed to be like 2 years there, 3 years there, and 3 years back,
Well,
or
because I'm
something
pretty
like that.
sure he says in his message to his wife early on, you'll see this message. If I succeed, you'll see this.
You'll wake up, and if it's a
8 years
particularly
down the-
beautiful day,
right, exactly.
then you'll know we succeeded.
Yeah.
Essentially,
And he mentions it being 8 years or something. I'll
Yeah,
have
it's
it
a
on
long-
For 8
yeah.
years,
Yeah,
and
it's a-
for you it'll be 8 minutes or something.
yeah, it's a long. Yeah, it's a long.
Yeah.
It's
Sounds
a
like
long,
a sex life. For you, it'll be 8 years. For me, it'll be 8 minutes.
Zing.
Well done.
Like, one thing I like about this movie, as we're meeting the crew at the beginning, is that most mainstream movies you see, or any movies, mainstream or not, that you see where people go to space,
Yeah.
they're pretty much all white. They're generally all Americans,
Okay.
or you got a Russian guy. It's like, generally
Yeah.
speaking, it's all white people.
Sure.
One of the things I like about this film is that you can see that they've tried to pick the best and brightest from all over the world.
Right.
This is because this is
a global crisis.
it's a global problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the sun burns out, we're all fucked.
We're all fucked. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're from China,
Absolutely.
if you're from Japan, if you're from Russia, if you're from Pakistan,
Yeah.
if we all got the same problem.
Absolutely, and
here.
I think that's even, it's setting the scene early that these are the best and the brightest. This is a mission to save Earth. They've sent one, so I guess these are the second best and brightest technically,
Yes.
but nevertheless, you're sending the people that can do the job. And
Yes, and
these
they've
aren't just fools.
yeah, and they've and I think they set the stakes about as high as they can get because they say that we burned. This is our second payload that
Yeah.
we don't have enough.
There's nothing left.
There's not enough material on Earth to
Yeah.
even mine, and of course the Earth is freezing.
Right.
So how are you even gonna drill? And
Yeah, like you can't. This is the last chance.
this is the last chance to save the Earth,
Yeah.
and that gravitas is felt
It's huge.
throughout the movie
Yeah,
because
it's pivotal.
and because the character, the choices, the hard, brutal
Yeah,
choices
yeah.
that some of the
Yeah.
characters consider making or do make.
And even less than that, just some of the general actions some of the crew have. Like there's some weird characteristics being portrayed, especially because early on Dr. Searle's in the sunroom.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I think Kaneda is early on viewing the sun as well, right? So there's some strange fascination with certain things happening. And
You
I
can
think-
see the screws starting to come loose
Yeah,
for some of them,
exactly.
which of course sets the scene
Yeah.
for Pinback earlier.
Absolutely.
You see the
I'll have
therapist.
Dr.
Searle. That's
Searle.
what you mentioned. Searle, yeah.
Throughout the movie, his face starts getting more burnt and burnt
Yes.
because he likes to stay in the sun.
Yes.
He tells the Icarus to set the filter to as high as it can get without causing permanent damage to his eyes.
Yeah.
This is early obsession and worship of the sun.
Yes.
Right? And of this luminous, bright, radiant orb in the sky.
And what's interesting, because it reminds me of the George Carlin joke, actually, that George Carlin has a bit about how people always refer to sun worshippers as primitive idiots, essentially.
Right.
But then he points out, meanwhile, the sun is literally the real giver of all life.
So I'm super happy you brought that up, because and we've talked about this movie before, and that's where we always end up, and I was going to get to it a little later on, but that is it, man. Religion.
Nothing exists.
Yeah.
Nothing exists on this entire fucking planet, or this
Right.
entire galaxy.
Nothing.
No living thing exists
Right.
without the sun.
We don't exist here right now without the sun. The sun is our giver of life, our bringer of light, all these wonderful things. It absolutely is the closest thing to a deity.
To a real god.
Right? It's the closest thing to a real god we have. Without it, we don't exist. We only exist because of it. There's nothing more deific than that, I suppose.
Once again, atheist podcast.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, these
But if
atheists
you're a
or
Christian,
not,
we'll let you listen. It's fine.
you can listen because you should consider what that means.
Yes.
At the very least.
How do you guys feel about the
We
moon?
love you.
The moon is always stealing the light from the sun.
True.
It's a thief.
That was a
Fucking Paris.
that was a benchwarmers joke.
No.
For you benchwarmers fans out there.
Hooray.
Great.
Two guys in Europe went, yay! I guess the first pivotal moment that happens in the movie, the first source of conflict, is the final messages, which you already set up. But the reason it's worth mentioning again is because that sets up the rivalry between Kappa and Mace. Mace was Chris
correct,
Evans'
which
character,
is
the
Chris
engineer.
Evans' character.
Scarecrow and Captain America.
Yes,
Going at it.
absolutely. I forgot about Scarecrow, but yeah, man, I love Cillian Murphy. He brings ace work to everything he does.
Oh yeah.
I love
totally.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen one bad thing he's been in.
The closest I would get is probably Red Eye.
I still enjoyed that movie.
It's again, that's basically a brain scan. It's a 2.5 out of 5 for me. It's
I got my next pick.
God damn it! And, good enough to watch. Not a great film, but good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough that I didn't regret watching.
But that was also really early Cillian Murphy too.
Yeah. So that is the first probably pivotal incident we have in the movie. As they're setting their final again a good hard science moment. Once we pass this threshold, we can no longer communicate with Earth,
Right?
Because our communications will not.
That's as far as they were able to get them to go at that time.
Yeah,
There
so
wasn't technology for anything more.
Yeah, so that's another great. Oh, that actually feeds into that feeds into the next pivotal moment in the movie, and probably potentially the most important thing in the movie is that they realize that's why they never heard anything back from Icarus 1.
Right. Yeah.
Because Icarus 1
threshold.
was past the threshold where they could send messages back to Earth.
Yep.
So that, of course, sets up the mystery of what happened to the Icarus One, which they have already kind of teased early on.
Yes.
And then it becomes a pivotal plot point that they have to go to the Icarus One.
Right. This becomes the stake of the movie.
That takes us right to the next important point of the
It
movie.
was so good.
Yeah, we have Trey. Trey is played by Benedict Wong. Trey is
Yes.
Trey the Navigator.
Yes,
Also
he
a guy
is.
who's in tons of stuff.
Tons of stuff
He's
now.
in Marvel too with Chris Evans.
Yes.
He's
He's the guy. He's
He's
Doctor
Strange.
Strange's little buddy there.
Yeah.
Right. Wong.
Wong, yeah. He becomes Sorcerer Supreme after Endgame.
Yeah.
Or during Endgame.
Right. Yeah. In any case, that Trey makes a mistake where he forgets what is exactly his
So
mistake.
they
He forgets to account for something.
Well, they decide that they're going to go to the Icarus and get the leftover bomb on the Icarus One to double their chances.
Right.
There
One
was-
bomb, two
yeah.
bombs is better than one bomb.
Right, and so there was some contention over, do we stray from the mission? And
Right.
Should we follow our mission and assume success, or should we deviate from our mission and grab a second chance? And so this is still in contention at this point. They make their decision.
That leans into the rivalry once again between
Exactly.
Kappa and
this is what leads to Mace. Kappa
Mace. Right.
Because their heads erode, they're butting heads. And this is where they decide they are going to go try and get the second chance.
But he forgets. That's the mistake. He forgets
one
to account
tiny calculation
when they I think it's because the ship turned.
Yes.
He forgot to account for the fact
Right.
that when the ship turns, the sun's going to hit it differently.
This is the fun science, is because they deviated course, they are now going in a slightly different direction, and the gravity from the sun is going to pull their ship as they go that way and twist it. And he didn't account to adjust the shield to follow that rotation.
Yeah, that's
that's why the shields are
Yes.
messed up, and they him and
they have to
Kieta
go outside.
have to go outside. Yeah.
Because they're so close to the sun at this point, and this is set up in the early scene of Dr. Searle in the sun viewing room, where without a filter, they're so close to the sun that it's so hot, it will absolutely roast them. So even through a filter, Dr. Searle's skin is
anything that's
Yeah.
behind the shield is going to get
toasted.
And so that becomes the reason why they have to go to the Icarus One.
Right. That ends the contention, and now it's our ship is damaged, and we have to get to the Icarus One.
And I think I love the way they introduce that so quickly. The fact that like Michelle Yeoh's as Corazon, she's the biologist, and her plants get cooked, and then they realize instantly. I believe they lose a couple of communications towers as well, but the most pivotal thing they lose there is that
oxygen.
Yes. And you see three characters actually discussing it.
Yeah, and this is
because eventually this turns into, and this was part of what made this movie contentious. I mentioned to Brady actually outside, but this was a bomb. This movie bombed hard.
Yeah, because it's more than
it's too
much.
It's too much for people.
Too heady. Yeah,
it's too bright.
It's too good.
The sun's dying. It's too bright.
You know what? You know what, Kyle? It's just too good. God damn it.
But you're right. It's right off the bat. It is. If you look into what it's saying, it is questioning religion, or at least putting something different in there. There's clearly religious themes behind.
He's got to find a way to make money off this.
Yeah, that's right.
Stupid. Go on.
and it moves into, I forget what I was saying. Shit.
Right,
and then it goes so dark, right? It goes into, okay, humanity is gonna die if we fail. Mind you, these are the stakes of success, and that's where Mike's talking about the discussion between three characters of we can increase our odds of success and getting to the Icarus if we have less oxygen, because we're too low on oxygen.
No,
less
but specific
people means more oxygen.
Yeah, specifically the three. I'm not sure if that's what you were insinuating.
Maybe,
but it's the three characters are discussing potentially murdering other people
because they need more oxygen.
Well, Trey's suicidal.
Yeah,
so they're not worried about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy Garrity is Harvey, the comms officer.
Thank you.
He's second in command.
So, a big name to me,
I guess before we go any further than that, we need to point out that Hiroyuki Sanada as Kaneda is killed.
Yeah.
He sacrifices himself
to
go save
Kappa.
They
go out to
because Kappa's the engineer.
Yeah.
And if you need physicist, excuse me. Kappa's the physicist, and without Kappa they can't detonate the bomb properly.
Right. So they volunteer. So Kaneda, as the captain, is going to go out and do the repairs caused by the damage of the solar shield.
Trey's mistake.
Kappa is elected by Mace to do it
because
he's the best man for the job.
Yeah.
And so they go out and they do the repairs, right? Which ends in Kaneda's death. But
roasted by the sun.
Roasted, but he turns to watch it because you kind of have to.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna go like that, you might as well get a front row seat to the greatest show in the universe.
Yeah, to your maker, to your life giver. It's right there in front of you, right?
Which again is so pivotal to the film because of Pinbacker.
Yeah,
later.
That's it, and that's where it makes that twist later on with Pinbacker, which we'll get to. This is the captain of the first Icarus.
Yes, spoiler alert, he's alive. Don't worry, you'll find out. You'll find out in 20 minutes when we get to it. Because I got a couple other things here. Okay, Kaneda's death. So Kaneda dies, and they give that moment. The first death probably gets the most
time on it.
Yeah, and that music, the music by John Murphy, who also did the music for 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. John Murphy, he has that song. It's called Adagio in D minor. How can you tell I've watched this movie a million times and listened to the soundtrack because it give the music, which is I think why they borrowed it for Kick-Ass for Big Daddy's death, is because that it gives so much. And
it's a hell of a score.
But he gets cooked alive in fucking Kick-Ass. They light him on fire.
Yeah, that's right.
They do.
Yeah, so that's what a weird.
Wow, that's a weird. Yeah, holy crap.
I would assume on purpose.
Yeah, we're playing 40 chess now.
Yeah,
holy
playing
fuck.
With fire.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, that also makes me think of when Kappa is. I think it's Kappa who's looking at the sun at one point, and he's actually using the special goggles also, and that's what he uses in Oppenheimer.
Oh right.
When he's watching the blast.
That's right.
It's so weird. It feels like when people say like we're living in the Matrix, it kind of like that's part of where like.
Right.
I don't know if I genuinely believe that's true, but stuff like that would be like
funny connection.
Whoops! It's glitching out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that seems so strange. Like just such a strange coincidence. Yeah. After all these years.
It's actually kind of priceless.
Yeah. So they're on their way to the Icarus 1.
Yeah.
Not just for the payload now, also for the shields, and also in hopes of taking their oxygen supply, so they don't have to start, pulling straws to see who's going to die or
goes
whatever.
Out the door. Yeah, exactly.
And Trey, as I think you, Brady, mentioned, Trey is suicidal from his mistake.
Yeah, because he's killing everyone.
His mistake caused Kaneda's death and potentially the failure
of the loss of the Earth.
Yeah, everybody,
everything.
Potentially the death of every living thing on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're heading to Icarus 1 in hopes of utilizing their resources, potentially even moving over to their ship and piloting it if it's still pilotable.
Right. Anything to keep going, anything that will increase their odds of survival, because now at this point they're very slim. They barely have enough oxygen to get there.
Yeah.
With the crew they have.
Yeah. And also gives them their second chance that they were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But then again, now Mace and Kappa are really butting heads because Trey does inevitably commit suicide. Or it's implied.
He does, but at this point they were discussing murdering him anyway because he already wanted to kill himself.
Well, they were that was the thing, is they're thinking, let's let him,
Yeah.
if he's going to do it, let's let him.
Yeah.
Mace literally grabs the scalpel.
They're gonna
but there's
go kill
also
him.
2 missing scalpels,
Yeah.
and he finds
Right.
Trey in the
Yeah.
He
Star
is
Trek
going to.
hologram
You're
room.
right. He is going to do it, and
Yeah.
then it turns out Trey's already committed
And then he
suicide.
calls everyone to the
Yeah, there's
Star
4
Trek hologram room.
Right, there's 5 survivors, and the 4 of them are making the decision. And at one point, Mace says it has to be unanimous.
And Cassie won't.
And
Cassie
she
won't.
does. She will
Cassie,
not.
who is the pilot, will not.
Yeah.
She's like, you need my vote. You're not going to
You're
get
not
it.
going to get it. And of course, he decides he's going to do it anyway. And they go to commit murder and increase their odds of survival. And Trey's already killed himself anyway. So Trey has
So
killed
Trey
himself.
Trey is dead. Kappa and Mace are at each other's throats essentially at this point. They're
Yeah,
about as close to murdering each other as they can be.
Absolutely, with Mace saying that it was a necessity anyway, and Kappa, of course, saying he only killed himself because of the pressure you put on him. So they're
Right.
completely at odds with each other.
Right, and so that they do reach the Icarus 1, and that's basically the next pivotal plot point.
That's it.
And that sets up the finale of the movie, essentially. Which it's a long.
It's a big run, right?
It's a long
and
finale,
it really does feel like it's all finale, right? Because it's one big run at this point.
and the stakes keep going
higher
up,
and higher,
and one death after
Yeah,
another.
man. It's once it hits this point, it's just a big. It's a sprint.
I'll say right now, if you plan to watch this movie,
Stop now.
stop now. Because this is the pivotal point where everything starts to change.
This is the big stuff.
And if you haven't turned this off yet, and you want to see the movie, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody dies. Literally every single character is going to be dead by the end
And
of this
like
movie.
you said earlier, that this movie bombed, right? What is going to bomb more to a general audience than a movie where every single big star that's in your movie ends up dead? And
Yeah, I think it was, they opened it actually Sunshine. I think they opened it as a summer movie because I saw this.
I knew that.
Saw this. I was one of the 8 to 10 people who saw this in theaters.
Could you imagine watching this movie in the dead of winter though?
Yeah,
you wouldn't make it out.
No,
that'd be it.
Well, just like the people at the end of the movie.
Oh,
yes.
wah, wah.
Truly. So yeah, that takes us to, we're at Icarus 1, and the discovery that they find on Icarus 1 is that everything works.
Yeah, everything's operational.
Because the mystery that everyone on Earth has been having, and of course also Icarus 2,
right?
What happened to Icarus 1?
And it's still there.
Turns out the oxygen supply still works, the thrusters are fine, the ship functions, everything is great. Which should be good news, with the exception of the fact
opening the door.
Yeah, with the exception of the fact that all the crew members are dead except for one. And they all seem to.
So this is where it gets cool.
Like, do you? So that
I know where you're gonna go.
Seven
chat.
of eight astronauts on the first Icarus are dead.
Yeah.
And they all died together in the sun observation.
Absolutely. And so they open the door, right, and they see all this dust, and one of the characters comments, 90% of all dust is human skin. So right away, there's something being set up, and you know something's not right here. And that's when I think shortly thereafter, after scouting the ship a little bit, they find, like you said, the rest of the crew in the sun viewing room, and they're absolutely burnt to a crisp.
And they're together. So yeah, there's two insinuations. I think probably the second one's the most obvious. The first insinuation is that Pinbacker may have convinced them. Like they sort of like culty.
Okay, I didn't go that way.
Convince them. Yeah, that's what I said. So the second one's probably much more likely that he killed them all and then put them there.
Okay, so here's a third. None of the above. They all had become so enamored with the sun at this point that, and whatever has caused them to change their mind, they did this willingly.
That's what I said. That's the culty.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I mean by the culty thing.
Sure.
Like
sorry,
Pinbacker says the sun is God and has convinced them.
Yeah, see, I didn't know. I guess I didn't take it that Pinbacker was like a ringleader of this. Because Dr. Searle's into the sun, it shows Kaneda's into the sun. Dr. Searle's skin is melting off, despite his wearing of aviators, so he's made this commitment.
The reason I assume Pinbacker was the ringleader is because he's the one who's still around and still talking to God, and wants to make sure
and there's a
that
line.
the sun, the sun is the key. God, essentially, his belief is that God the sun is God. God wants us dead,
Yeah.
so we deserve to die.
There's a line later that does indicate more so to where you're leaning that it is cult and that he's convinced them of this and they're following. But I do think it's really interesting that they were gathered in that room together, seemingly huddled around and accepting of their fate.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Give your glory to God.
So, but yeah, so it could go either way. It could be either they were convinced to give up their lives, or Pinbacker murdered them all, because you don't get any sort of look
Either
at their.
way. Yeah,
either way, it works.
Yeah, it works the same. It's. I also think it's very.
Either way, Pinbacker's essentially responsible for their death.
Yeah,
one way or the other. So it doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter all that much.
No,
but it's interesting to think about.
It's extremely interesting because, again, the way they're placed, it's very like they're huddled around it. It could be very prayer-esque. It could be very sermon-esque.
And he could have positioned them that way, or they could have decided to allow that to happen.
You've both seen the movie way more times than I have. This is my first viewing.
Did
you notice there's a lot of random jump cuts where they show the
yes, of course. Yeah, because it shows
the picture. They show the picture towards the beginning of the movie.
And I thought maybe when they all have the Hawaiian shirts on, maybe that was the start of what the cult was, or whatever, like religious.
Because they were having like a good time in the sun.
Yeah, they're all wearing Hawaiian shirts,
Grooving.
and they're in space near the sun.
Right.
See, what I took that to be is like sort of like, I think my feeling was that was the last photo they took on Earth.
That was my impression as well.
I thought they were like from
because
the way
the
photo looked, it was on the station already, or on the ship already.
But for me, what I was thinking is presumably when the ship was still on Earth, like as like a promo for the press to sell to like the people on Earth.
But they wouldn't. I don't think they'd flash that during the movie. Just randomly throughout the movie.
Well, so
I disagree because I think the juxtaposition.
That's exactly the word I was going to use.
The joy on their faces, and the hope they felt, versus their inevitable fate.
Versus getting so close to the sun, they sit around and get burnt to a crisp by it and begin to worship it. Like that is.
I think that's exactly
okay. Yeah, maybe I was overthinking that then because I thought they were already starting to like get
Pinbacker. So to be fair, as Brady said, this is his first viewing. Me and Kyle have been to the sun a few times.
Yeah, we've been there.
They're rocks from the sun.
Yes. Okay, and from here, this is where the deaths start. Trey's gone, Kanita's gone, and this is where everybody else starts to go. So they eventually realize Pinbacker is already killing people before they even realize that he's still alive. I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, no, that's not true because they count the corpses in the room.
Yes.
So they know that one person is still alive. They don't necessarily know it's Pinbacker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He sabotages the airlock between the thing. Because the airlock disconnects and they're...
He infiltrates Icarus too.
And and also he did leave a final video call. His final video call.
Yep. I thought this was an automated message like that, like when you walk into a store and it's like, hello,
it's the last recorded message on the communication system.
Yeah, but he's also not Earth at that point.
Maybe he was potentially thinking that it could reach the Earth and that was a message he was trying to get to Earth.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that he necessarily would have predicted that there would be a second Icarus and that they would come to this and That seems like a lot of...
I think it's pre-recorded,
Yeah, so I think maybe he was hoping that would make it to Earth for him to... But anyway, he ends it by saying, "Who are we to deny God?"
Yeah, some heavy shit.
Yeah.
Was that Mark Strong at the end?
Presumably it's Mark Strong with a bunch of, because it says Mark on.
Yeah,
you can't tell at
the end. It's
because he's so cooked.
Also, what I loved was usually in movies they have the villain in darkness the entire time you see him. He's lit up.
So there's even lens.
But he's so disfigured. He's so disfigured. You can't tell really.
And it's so to show that he's so infused with the sun, there's lens flare anytime he's on there, right? That distortion, some of that is lens flare.
Yes.
So
and not J.J. Abrams lens flare. It's actual good lens flare.
Good lens flare.
Like it's classy.
Not just somebody pointed a gun and the light supposedly flickered off the gun and lens flare.
Lens flicker.
To the point where you can't make out his face clearly because you're blinded by his brilliant radiance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
much.
can see enough that it's grotesque, but at the same time you can't see enough because it's so fast and the camera panning just
it's the classic horror move. You can tell more or less what he looks like.
Yeah, totally.
But you don't get to see the full picture really until the end.
He's also butt-ass naked.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of like existential horror, I suppose, in the first part of this movie. This is where it kicks it up into like adrenaline pounding chase scenes, monster-esque. This is now pure horror. This guy fucking around and doing what he's doing is absolutely terrifying.
You don't know where he is either.
No, he's fucking terrifying. And you see several scenes, I think, early that he's seemingly quite strong, quite powerful, quite resilient.
As if he was God's chosen.
As if he was God's chosen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's because you already mentioned the airlock situation even before. So because was that again? I think that was you, Brady, who mentioned the airlock sabotage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pinbacker sabotages the airlock, the ship is now. The ship or the two parts of the Icarus, actually. I think it's the two parts of the Icarus are separated by a vacuum of space.
Yes.
That the characters who are on Icarus 1 need to somehow jump to Icarus 2.
Yeah.
But again, this sort of pragmatic, no emotion, someone's got to die. Searle decides to stay on because somebody has to operate the mechanism in order for them to even try to make the jump. And Searle decides, and we're at that point we're already seeing that Troy Garrity as Harvey, the comms officer, is kind of a fucking coward.
Absolutely.
Piece of shit.
I'm the captain. I want to be the one in the suit. I want to go home.
Right. But they don't need a comms officer anymore.
No, they don't need, because the comms towers are shot, for one thing. For another thing, there's no communication back to the planet at this point anyway.
Completely
but he is the captain now, and that's I think where he wants to be. But like he's the one that can't drop the payload. He can't. He's not the botanist. He can't.
Yeah, he's the classic. He's the classic horror movie coward that the classic horror movie coward you always.
And he has a classic horror movie coward's death.
Yes,
it's also kind of funny.
It is awesome.
He gets what that's what you always wait for when you got your horror movie coward.
Comeuppance.
They always they're gonna get it in the end, man.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna get it.
And it was a satisfying death.
Oh, so satisfying.
Well, especially because it happens right after he's like, "There's no way I'm gonna die, dirgity dur."
Yeah.
But they decide to give the suit. Again, this is Mace's reasoning because Mace is probably the most pragmatic character in the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He says, "No, you don't get the suit. I don't get the suit. Kappa gets the suit because again,
at this
the person we need the most is Kappa.
Yeah, at this stage, he's the only one that matters.
Kappa.
If we can't set off the bomb, doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
And even Dr. Searle makes the decision to stay because they don't need a psychologist anymore, or a therapist, or whatever.
Honestly, that was like the bravest thing you could have done.
Yeah, super cool.
Like Mace, you kind of need Mace a little bit
because he's the engineer.
He's the engineer.
He's the guy. Kappa. If anything technical happens, you need Mace still.
Yeah, they're not. They know it's a suicide mission.
That's what I appreciate.
You don't need anyone else. You need who you need, and
that's what I appreciate so much about the trajectory of the film is how early they accept that it's a suicide mission.
Yeah.
It's
but also that none of them are really all that willing to die, with the exception of maybe Mace being the most pragmatic. Trey is suicidal, but even faced with understanding that this is likely no way back, most of them are still fighting for their life. And to the point of not being willing to give it up to save certain other people's, or even the Earth's.
Yeah. In the beginning, they also talk about, like, oh yeah, we have enough oxygen to get back from the sun and Mercury, and then no shit's gonna be fucked up.
Yeah.
So this is an end all be all. If
Even
we don't do
best.
this, everything's gone.
Yeah, even at its best, it was not likely going to be a rousing success. Yeah,
it's very much Return of the King vibes.
I was just saying, Fantastic Four myself because Flame On,
because that last journey.
Yeah, well, because it's literally the same thing in Lord of the Rings. Frodo, Sam says there should be enough. Frodo says, for what? For the return journey. And then Gollum throws all the bread away, and now there's no way for them to go back, and now it's a suicide mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since we're doing now Searle's dead. So Searle's dead, and the next to go is, of course, Harvey, but his death happens in the most extreme, brutal fucking way. When they do the jump...
Yeah, it's so good.
They decide to wrap themselves in, because there's only one spacesuit, they decide to wrap themselves in it's an
insulation.
The insulation stuff. in hopes
Heat
of
shield.
in hopes of making it so the three of them can make the jump, holding on to Kappa, who's in the spacesuit.
Yeah.
But Harvey is not so lucky.
Harvey does
and his
not.
comeuppance, I love it because his
so
comeuppance, like literally 3 minutes late, like after he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna live," he's fucking dead.
But also the way
His
right?
death is gnarly.
And so completely, it's such a passing moment. He just comes out from behind the sun shield and poof, there he goes.
And then you just watch his body freeze instantly.
Yeah.
You see his eyeballs freeze in their sockets.
They kind of pop a little bit like Total Recall.
They do
as
a little
just,
bit,
just enough to be
That's
like,
what I thought.
that's funny, but it's also
gnarly.
But the best is the last bit. You see the last
freezes,
last breath of oxygen coming out and freezing.
Yeah.
And then he just crashes and burns against the ship and breaks like.
a couple pieces, but then he blips out of nothing, right? Like completely, everything was meaningless.
It's
tiny,
amazing,
minuscule death.
It's amazing.
You see the asshole,
so good.
The one asshole in the movie die.
And they gave it to him in such a gnarly way, like you said, but just so.
And I think it's interesting. I don't know if there's something specific about this, but I think it's interesting that there's only two characters die from cold in this movie. I don't know if there's something thematically there. I think for him there might be because he's a fucking coward.
Yeah. And
Mace is the second character.
Mace is quite literally the coldest character on the ship.
You also see him stick his hand early in the movie into the coolant and
That's-
freeze his hand.
That's
and
what
he's
they.
afraid he's gonna
That's what they
burn his
call
hand
it.
off.
That's what they call a Chekhov's gun moment. It's like we need to introduce this earlier,
So we can have it later.
so when you have it later, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, we call him Mr. Freeze Gun at this point.
So who we still have are we have Kappa the physicist, we have Cassie the pilot, we have Mace the engineer, and we have Corazon Michelle Yeoh as the biologist.
Right.
And she's the next to go.
Of course.
And Pinbacker takes her out.
He pins
personally.
backs her, and
He does pins back, sir.
Well, again, and that's sort of what we were just talking about. It's the it's foreshadowing because we see the automated scalpel, the automated spinning scalpel, and her death is also. I mean, there's some really tragic deaths. She finds the last plant, the last plant that survived from the ashes.
Yeah.
And as she's sort of like, again, almost sort of worshipping it herself.
Yeah, well, it's
worshipping
their last
life.
I mean, it is anything.
It's a miracle to a certain extent.
Yeah,
right?
if the sun is part of the reason, if the sun is the biggest reason we're here, oxygen would be the next one, I suppose.
And then that's the plants.
Yeah, right.
She's in charge
That's the plants.
and then water, I guess, would be the also in between.
And that's where Mace goes.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
through the magic of discussion, we are figuring out new themes. In this movie.
think so. That's pretty cool. I hadn't
takes
thought of
3
that.
idiots to watch one movie.
That's right.
Right.
Much shit out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that she's the next. Corazon is the next to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess is probably the most stereotypical thing because the last three characters are the white guys.
Oh, I
The
didn't
two white
even
guys
really
and the
think
white
of
girl.
that, yeah.
So that would probably be. But I think
All your token characters
the
are
reason
gone.
the reason I forgive it is because they were presumably they're trying to sell this in an American market.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's a British
Absolutely.
film. Like, it's literally...
I mean, American...
It's a British film, but how British sounding is Cillian Murphy in this film?
Nobody has
there's
a British accent.
Yeah.
No.
Technically, you're right. Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are both...
I think it was also
from the
shot
UK.
in the UK.
That makes sense. Yeah, that would check out. But yeah, that leaves us with Cassie, Mason, Kappa, and none of them are long for this world.
No, it's quick moving by this point.
Yeah, like the characters are the characters by this point are biting it within
Fast.
within
Yeah.
5 minutes of each other.
The stakes are full bore, and that's again like this is the longest finale I've ever seen. It is just sprinting at this point. Still,
It's
is
a
still
balls to the
running.
wall ending.
Yeah.
And I wasn't bored the entire time.
No, how could you be? Like,
Well, because characters are literally dropping like flies
every
one
couple
after
of
another.
minutes.
And, like, it's not subtle either. It's like, oh, yeah, stab. I'm gonna
That's what I mean.
slash.
Yeah, is it Corazon?
Corazon.
Corazon. It's almost immediately after they just recover from making their jump. Corazon bites the dust.
Yeah, so
Like,
Cyril bit
immediately.
it, and then Harvey bit it, and
Yeah.
then Corazon
Yeah.
right after,
then-
back to back to back.
And not much longer after that, we're up to Mace. And it
Yeah,
kind of
Mace is
throughout
next.
this, it is just a lot of...
Mace tries to redo the fusion, like the computer, like in the cold.
Yeah, because
and
Pinbacker's sabotaged their ship now, right?
And he figured that out. That's why he jumped in the freezing liquid.
Because they had found it on Icarus One's ship. He knew and noticed that they had sabotaged the cooling systems. Yeah.
One thing they could have also just, if he figured that out, he could have also just hopped in the. I don't know if the cool liquid would still be in the same position because how old the ship is from the other thing. Because everything looked dead.
Right.
As we're in Icarus 2,
but he could have shoved it back. It is
because it was freshly off. But.
Yeah, it is melted to shit in Icarus 1 though.
So yeah, that is Mace's death. He jumps into the as Brady mentioned earlier, the setup from earlier in the film, where to put your hand in there for 1 second, and he forces himself to go in multiple times until he can repair it, and then it actually looks like he might be able to. Wouldn't have mattered because the ship it's going to get toasted, and they know by that point that everything is getting toasted. They're just going to send it on a free fall into the sun by this point. But he gets also a suitably tragic death as he sacrificed himself in probably the most painful and horrible death of the movie.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Where not only is he slowly freezing to death, when he's about to escape, his leg gets crushed.
Yeah,
by
the
pinned back.
Also, Mace says early on, like, if anything happens, I don't care who goes as long as the mission succeeds.
Yeah, ultimate pragmatist.
Yeah, and like he's the one that goes in the most horrific way.
Mm-hmm. But also in the maybe not the most sacrificial way, but certainly it's sacrificial. He knows that this has to happen or everything is shot.
Yeah,
so
again,
he's one of the most willing to say, "Yeah, I'll lay down my life and do."
And that checks because he's that guy. That's how he is from the beginning of the movie, and that's how he is at the end of the movie.
Right.
So he's a man of character. He's not like Harvey, that fucking coward.
No.
Pinbacker, Cassie, and Kappa, or who's left.
There's a killer monologue in there somewhere too from Pinbacker.
Pinbacker's
huge monologue.
You can tell this guy's been living by himself for years.
Yeah,
he's got a lot to say.
It's where I can't remember exactly where it comes into play, but it's where he drops a line that has stood with me since the first time I watched this movie. It's essentially his reasoning for what he's doing, and it's to be the last man alone with God.
Right. See, and that's again that takes us back to what we were discussing.
Yeah.
What we were discussing about whether he turned them into his cult of followers or whether he killed them because they didn't understand his vision or whatever.
Yeah, this is the point that I was saying when we were talking about that. There's a line later on that kind of leads it more to one way or the other, and it's this that brings it around to what you're saying about it being more of a cult following. This dude has convinced other people or whatever to follow his cult-like idea of the sun, all in the desire to become the last man alone with God, to meet his maker.
And of course they plant that seed with Searle and Kaneda early on. That the loneliness and isolation of space and like the nothing to do with it all can kind of bug your brain out a little bit.
Yeah, the further away they get from Earth,
the further away they get from their own humanity,
and the closer they get to what could be perceived as a deity, and once they get there and see it face to face, I mean, different things happen to different people. But this is how he becomes enamored with the idea that I will meet my maker. I'm going to be face to face with my God.
We all meet our maker eventually, but he wants to literally
meet the sun.
Luckily, he's not the one who gets to do it.
That's right.
Yeah, so that Pinbacker man, I think at this point, we've only got Pinbacker, Cassie, and Kappa. Cassie basically decides to kind of fight Pinbacker so Kappa has the chance to get to the bomb.
Right.
She doesn't last very long, unfortunately.
No. Pinbacker's a unit.
Yeah, he basically lifts her up and drops her off the side of the ship.
Thing, yeah.
And then
he originally picks up Trey's dead body because like the lights come on and they're in the hollow room. He picks Trey up by the neck, thinking it was Casey.
Oh, right, because he's busting through the glass and stuff, chasing her. Yeah.
And then I think he stabs her. Does he stab her? No.
I believe he drops her off the side of the.
It's in
that
the
Inception.
ship.
Yeah, it's in the ship. It's the rotating core. Of the ship where the bomb's
the bomb room.
Yeah. And she falls essentially to her death. She's still alive when Kappa leaves her, I believe.
Yes.
But she's fucked. Like, her body's fucked.
Yeah, it's clear that she's she's done for.
And again, it doesn't matter
it doesn't
because
matter.
this is a suicide mission at this point anyway.
Absolutely.
But is she the one who stops Pinbacker at the end? I think she does.
She does she push him off? I forget how Pinbacker goes.
I don't
it doesn't
think,
really matter.
Or maybe he doesn't actually die on camera.
No, he's looking down as.
You're right.
Yeah.
When Kappa
As-
starts,
yeah,
so he
Kappa
does.
starts doing
the
the
last
bomb.
two. The last two are him and.
Because
yeah.
it's rotating and
Yeah.
Cassie's already dead. I'm assuming she was dead because
She
Doesn't
was-
again, it doesn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Because if she's not dead, she's going to be
Yeah.
dead right
Yeah.
away. So
She's dead enough.
Kappa half the time, like, he's thinking about her and, like, he sees her and she's sitting at one spot just like...
Right, yeah.
I thought she might have been a little bit alive
Well,
and then just...
Maybe, and I
faded
think
out.
that even shows, like, Kappa saw that, acknowledged it, and then decided to move forward with what he had to do
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, and that actually I mean, I guess it makes so much sense that they're the last two because they both have the same dream that they talk about earlier in the movie. The same dream that they always have where they're falling into the sun.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And they get to become part of the sun.
And then
right?
they replay that monologue,
Yeah.
actually, the same dream
They
I
do.
always have. The one where we fall into the
Yeah.
sun, yeah.
They do. And while this is happening, I guess we can get to the finality of the
Well,
film.
that's
at
it.
this
Yeah,
point.
we're
That's
there.
it, right? So Kappa goes in and detonates the bomb.
And right before the bomb goes off, I don't know if this is really what happens or if this is just the thing he sees before he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's probably the thing where people question the science of the movie the most. There's no way he would actually literally be able to get that close to the sun.
This is clearly
Yeah.
the symbolism of him also meeting his maker in the sense that...
Yeah, I think that's probably some of the science people criticized, but I don't think it really matters.
No, I think at
all
that
that
point
much
it's
because it
more about
fits
the
thematically.
imagery. Yeah, it's the imagery more
They
than the
show that at
science.
the beginning of the movie, too. Like, at the intro of the movie.
They
They show
do.
him kind of touching
the
the
sparkling
sun,
stuff.
The sun and then,
It's such a perfectly planned, perfectly written, perfectly constructed story.
Yeah,
It's
like this
just-
is a masterpiece.
It's
This is
incredible.
amazing.
It's an incredible movie. Arguably the best movie we talked about. Of course,
Thus far, yeah.
excuse
Yeah.
my bias because I picked it, but it's fucking
It is a
fantastic.
damn good movie.
I
It's
will
easily-
say it's probably the best pick.
Yeah, it's the best pick by a long shot. There's so much to unpack in this movie on so many levels. It's a big movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
And I love that it wasn't just a straight gore fest.
No,
like, I
not
thought
at
it was
all.
gonna. When I
Yeah.
originally looked at the
Well, that's-
trailer, I thought it was gonna be more like an alien
That's
style of movie, and it was.
that
It took a
is-
while to get into the horror.
Yeah.
and I love that.
That's what a lot of people criticized about it, actually, is that the thing that it turned into a slasher in the third act. A lot of people don't like that because it's such a hard science, pragmatic movie up until that
Sure.
point.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't like about it. I think it's fucking awesome though. Sort of like we mentioned Sinners from Dusk Till Dawn. I love when movies kind of seem to be one thing and then they just take a hard left and become something else.
Well, and that's like what I said, right? This goes from a really deep, thoughtful horror style of movie, and it stays that way, but it absolutely flips into a much more adrenaline-paced style of horror in that second act or third act or whatever you want to call it. Going to Pinbacker as a villain from just the thoughts of death and finality in the first little bit turns it into
Existential dread is the real bad guy.
That's the bad guy, yeah.
I really like that you don't get introduced to the villain. You only get snippets of him, and then he's there. Like they don't show him on the ship.
Yep.
He's on Icarus 2, and he starts.
Whatever.
It's 2057. It's the Screwdriver.
Yeah, that works.
Was that actually what it is?
That's what the notes.
Well, we're on track.
Damn.
Actually,
We're getting very apocalyptic here in 2025. So yeah, we're on track for the end of humanity in 2057.
I could see it.
Actually, with a movie like this, you don't really need to know the year it is because it could be any year.
any
They don't
time.
have cell phones. They don't have.
We don't see anything on Earth almost the entire movie, so it doesn't matter.
Very smartly,
Like,
it doesn't
only the
date
very
itself.
end when you see his sister and his niece and nephew.
They're just standing in the snow
Yeah, which could be,
on Earth, and like literally you don't see anything.
It
Aside
looks like
from
where
that.
we are.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the time
so-
is fucking like that here.
Yeah,
but
true.
there's something in the background, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to know. Is that
I think
Australia,
it's
the
I was gonna say I think it's Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it
that's-
is.
That's where they made.
That's the only. That's the only indication I believe
Yeah,
is that
because
yeah.
it's a nice warm place.
You don't
that's
see a guy with a
frozen over.
surfboard just. Where are the waves, brah?
Yeah.
Brady, I'll go to you first for final thoughts. Because you're the first time boy.
It's my first time
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
this. I love the film. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be this good. From the trailers I seen, I didn't like what the trailer showed.
The trailers make it look like really hard sci-fi. And to a certain extent it is.
The trailers make it look like shitty Star Trek. Like a very shitty, like a shittier Star Trek.
I think part of the film's failure is the marketing.
Yeah.
But I think the marketing is trying to preserve the twists.
Yeah.
But the problem with preserving all the twists is the movie looks kind of boring in the trailer.
It looks very boring. Yeah, that's...
The only reason I went to the theater to see it was because it was Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. That's why I went.
This was what Danny Boyle... his... After he did...
This is his follow-up to 28 Days Later, I believe.
Okay, yeah, because that was 2002?
I don't recall, but Alex Garland is... And then Alex Garland was the guy at that time. He had written The Beach and a couple of other movies. He'd already written... Oh, yeah, of course, 28 Days Later. He was also... He's the writer on 28 Days Later, so... Anyway, good... You got these two guys doing the thing, and you got the guy doing the music from 28 Days Later also, so...
Yeah, they work really well.
You're on the hype train. Yeah. That's where I was at when I saw this.
I think I like this a little bit better than 28 Days Later.
I think it's honestly my favorite Danny Boyle movie.
I will say probably mine too.
It's great. It's so underrated and so underseen.
And I love 28 Days Later.
I
also like 28 Weeks Later a little bit better than 28 Days Later because the story goes a little bit farther.
I think that's a great movie, and I would love to do it one day. I mean, maybe even when 28 Years Later drops right away. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got the Brady's final thoughts. Mr. Mickleborough, what are we thinking on our fourth, fifth, sixth, however many?
Yeah, this is my fourth or fifth. I love this film. It is so fucking good. It has so much to consider. Clearly, I'm a big fan of looking at the religious aspects, but it doesn't have to be just that. There's a lot going on. 2 neutron star bombs out of several neutron star bombs.
Yeah, it's incredible movie. Yeah, obviously.
So I don't follow. I'm not a big film buff. So I went into this as a sleeper. I didn't know anything about Danny Boyle or any of the people in it. I didn't follow anybody. I don't care. I just picked it out because it looked cool. To have this be the surprise that I got on a nameless movie pick was huge. Like it stuck with me, and I saw this so long ago, probably shortly after it came out into theaters. So this is 2008, 2009 maybe for me, and it has just stuck with me ever since. It's a huge movie. I recommend it constantly to people.
Oh, it's so good. I hope for your sake, if you're still here, that you stopped. Yeah. You stopped a half hour ago and watched the movie and then came back.
Yeah, man, it's because huge.
What a fucking movie, man! Holy crap! Obviously, I don't need to really tell you guys how much I love this movie because I've seen it more times than Kyle, I think, even, and it's fucking great.
For sure you have.
It's one of those movies that I always, because it's like some of my favorite movies, like any when you have a cult movie that most people haven't seen, it's the perfect movie to watch with someone. It is. Because nobody saw this movie.
No, and it's so thought-provoking, too, that it doesn't matter when you're watching it. It's going to put you in a headspace to think of something current and relevant.
It's possibly more relevant than ever. Because I don't think things have ever been more apocalyptic now than they've ever been, right?
Yeah, and the spirituality behind it and all these other things. It's a thinker movie, man. You gotta watch it once, and you gotta watch it twice. You gotta sit and think about what you've seen.
Once, twice, 3 times a movie.
Yeah,
honestly, I kind of wish I would have watched it with you guys because you guys have seen the movie. Just because, my reactions watching it on my computer were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, but I think that's why it's pivotal that we watch separately.
Yeah,
because then we all come with our own.
Yeah, I don't want to hype your train up either. I want you to be hyped all on your own.
Stay alive. Stay alive. This is the best movie ever.
It's the worst.
Well, this movie's Stay Dead. No, we're all gonna die. We're all going to hell tonight.
Right.
Well, anyway, that takes us to the end of our Sunshine Talk, and that means we have to jump to our friend Coffin Fodder Mickleborough here.
That's me.
And Kyle, what are we talking about for episode 8?
Let's go into another one of my favorite movies that I've watched several times, much newer, Annihilation.
That is written and directed by Alex Garland.
I had no idea. See, I don't follow this shit. Annihilation's on Netflix. It popped up on Netflix and got a lot of talk.
Fucking great movie.
That's where I watched it.
Perfect to transition from this because it's again, that's why maybe part of why you thought of it
It's similar
thematically,
themes. Yeah,
very thematically.
Tons of similar themes.
You got the same guy talking the same language.
Yep, absolutely, man. That's
Wait,
perfect.
so we're watching Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Yeah.
You want to talk horror?
That can't be your next pick.
You want to talk horror? Holy
I will not pick
fuck.
that as my next pick.
That can't be your next pick.
Banned. But that's that. I mean, that if you want true horror, that's a fucking
That is
real. That's a real scary watch.
That's a real poop. It's a real poop.
Oh
song.
boy. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show, and we will see you in 7 days. And until then,
Keep your eyes open.
and we're out.